Hello everybody, I thought I'd just make this video to show you how I arrange my minis before and while painting. I've seen lots of guys putting their models on popsicle sticks, old paint containers, mounting them directly onto the base and various other options. What I came up with, I started with these sheets of or what we call here chipboard. I don't know if it's the type of MDF or not. Or I see it on ads. Chipboard and MDF are listed separately, so I wouldn't, maybe not really MDF, but this chipboard is a particle board, compressed particles. And what I did was I started off by drilling a matrix of holes throughout the whole board, planked board. Firstly, I started off by using these push pins to mount in the holes. As you can see here, what I do is I mount the miniature on the push pin using this stuff that we call press stick, used for putting up posters and things. I think it's maybe Hobby Tack or Blue Tack or something in your country, I'm not sure. But that's what I use. I mount them on so I started mounting them on these push pins. You can mount, I made a row of 4, so most stands have got 3 or 2 figures per base, so I made it for 4. So you can have 4 men in a row for a base that has 4 or 2 or 3, or like a MG and mortars. Like here I've got the mortar crew with their mortar in the same row. As I say, I started off with push pins, but when I ran out of those, I went to these sort of wide-headed nails, obviously making the holes bigger so they can slot in. After a while I ran out of nails, so I just went to basically 3mm screws, and that's how I do it. And then what I do is I take team or whatever, and then I transfer them onto these foam blocks that I have. And so, because like these British, when I first started painting those British, there at the back, those 2 rows of British, the first ones I started, and you can see on there, well, if you can, there's a lot of faces and hands painted. What I started doing with those is I would take the whole plank full of miniatures and just start painting like hands and faces, and going through the whole batch. But obviously it's not very inspiring to just sit and paint hands and faces all day, and you just never seem to get anywhere. So when I started my Germans, which were the second batch, I went over to this method of placing a few on a foam block, generally a team, or in this case I've got two US parachute 60mm mortar teams. So I can do the 2, and then I'll do the 2 teams. In these I'll start off and like do all the faces and hands, and like maybe all the webbing and what have you, and then once I've got sort of the majority of it done, then I'll take each figure and sort of just go through and do everything on one figure, and then do the 2 or 3 figures to complete that base, and then I'll take those and glue them to their base so they're ready. For me, it gives me, to see stands or bases with completed miniatures on it, gives you a bit of inspiration to carry on. As I say, when I was trying to do a whole batch at once, I was getting nowhere. So like here, this one that's unpopulated, this is just for the batch of Paris that I finished doing. I've still got another plank full and a few of these. I've got a few foam blocks with a few teams on. Yeah, I just for me it gives organization. Plus, when I sort of get the minis, I put them all on the plank, and then I can sit and I can organize my teams how I want them to be. You can see exactly what figures on what team, and sort of mix and match to give you the best sort of variation or whatever. Anyway, guys, I just thought I'd show you this. Maybe it might help someone to have a system that might help them. Obviously, it might not work for everybody. I mean, especially the guys who just take all their miniatures, clean them up, and glue them straight onto the bases and have that done. But as I say, well, I haven't said, but I don't even know how people can paint their miniatures on a base. I find it hard enough where I can hold each miniature like this and turn it how I want. Even that is hard enough for me. So having a number of figures on a base and trying to get your paintbrush in to paint that, I don't think I'd ever do that. So this is my method. I hope maybe this idea of mine might help someone out. Until next time, keep well, and I'll see you now again. Bye.